Hello and welcome to a new SwiftUI tutorial. In SwiftUI, it's super easy to embed your app's views into a tab bar using a tab view. However, we are limited to the standard tab bar design that Apple provides us with. But the in-house tab bar can get boring and sometimes doesn't offer the functionality we need for our app. In this tutorial, we will learn how to create our own custom and fully customizable tab bar. By the way, we will not use a UI tab bar controller for this but implement the navigation logic only with SwiftUI and from scratch. Our finished tab bar will look like this. With the knowledge from this article, you should be able to create almost any tab bar you can imagine using SwiftUI only. Let's get started. After opening Code 12 and creating a new app under iOS, we can begin preparing our custom tab bar. For the purpose of this tutorial, we will use the default content view.swift file. We will need 3 different colors for our tab bar. Let's put them in our assets folder right now. For our app, we need one color for the big plus icon of the tab bar, one for the tab bar's background, and one for the selected tab bar icon, each one with respect to dark and light mode. We will later be able to jump between two different views, a home view and a settings view. By default, we want to present the home view. This view should simply consist of a text view reading home. For this, we can replace the string in the default hello world text view. We also remove the padding modifier. We want to place the tab bar at the bottom of the content view. Therefore, we have to wrap our text view into a V-stack. To make sure that the text is always centered, we add to spacer views. We almost finished preparing our content view. Finally, we want to have the capability to know the width and height of the content view depending on the particular device the app runs on. We need to know this to adjust the size of the tab bar dynamically. For this purpose, we wrap our VStack into a geometry reader. The geometry reader reads out its parent view's size dimensions. In our case, that should be the content view as the overall super view, the one that covers the entire screen. Note, don't worry if the text view is not centered anymore after embedding the VStack into the geometry reader. We will fix this in a moment. We finished our preparations. Now it's time to actually design our custom tab bar. Composing our tab bar. Our tab bar should contain 5 different icons arranged horizontally. Therefore, we insert an H-stack into our VStack below the last spacer view. Next, we can set our H-stack to be always 1/8 of the content view's height. We also add a white background with a smooth shadow effect to it. Each tab bar icon should consist of an image view and a text. The icon for the image view is taken from the SF Symbols catalog. Check the link in the description for this. For the first icon, we use the HomeKit symbol. Your preview should now look like this. To make it reusable, outsource CMD, click on the VStack and select Extract Subview. Call the Subview tab bar icon. We need to derive the width and height and symbol name and tab name of each tab bar icon from the content view that hosts the particular tab bar icon instance. So let's add these properties to the tab bar icon view and replace the fixed values. Next, we need to pass those values to the Initialize tab bar icon inside our content view's HStack. Let's add 4 more tab bar icons to our content view. Our tab bar slowly takes shape. However, it is, depending on the device the app runs on, slightly away from the bottom edge. This is because by default a SwiftUI view's content stays inside the so-called safe area. This prevents our tab bar from reaching the lower edge of our screen. But we can explicitly tell our SwiftUI view to exceed the safe area's lower boundary by adding the following modifier to the overall VStack. Finally, we increase the spacing between our tab bar icons by adding some negative horizontal padding to each one. Next, we want to replace the plus tab bar icon with a slightly shifted plus button. We create this by inserting a Z-stack between the two icons. The first view inside this Z-stack should simply be a white circle. On top of this circle, we stack our actual plus icon. To ensure that the whole plus tab bar icon is placed slightly above the tab view, we apply the offset modifier to our Z stack. Our Z stack should be shifted upwards by half the height of the tab bar, since our tab view is 1/8 as high as the screen we write. Awesome, we finished designing our own custom tab bar. It's simple as that. Your preview should now look like this. Now it's time to write the code for the navigation logic. How to navigate between views independently in SwiftUI is shown in detail in the tutorial we linked in the description. Therefore, we'll keep it brief in the following. To be able to switch back and forth between the different views, we need a manager that tells our content view which view it should display. For this purpose, we create a new file, and select Swift file. We call this file ViewRouter. Next, we import the SwiftUI framework and create a class named ViewRouter that conforms to the Observable Object Protocol. The user should be able to switch between tabs. To represent those tabs in our ViewRouter, we prepare a corresponding enum which we place right below our ViewRouter class. Within our ViewRouter, we need a variable to keep the observing view updated about which page should currently be displayed. Thus, we declare a variable current page. By default, we want to display the Home tab. With the publish property wrapper, we notify all observing views to update themselves whenever the page assigned to the current view variable changes. That's it. We can now use a ViewRouter as a state object within our content view. We create the actual ViewRouter instance in our abstract and pass it to the observing content view like this. Make sure you read the Navigating in SwiftUI tutorial linked in the description if you don't really understand the navigation logic we are using. Depending on the view router's current view variable, we want to show an appropriate text view as a placeholder. Therefore, we replace our current text view within the spacers with the following switch statement. To be able to switch between the different tabs, we need to access the ViewRouter from each tab bar icon. To know which page is assigned to the particular tab bar icon instance, we also add a property to our tab bar icon struct. Now we need to update the tab bar icon initializations in our content view. We can enable the user to navigate between the different tabs by adding a tap gesture to the VStack in the tab bar icon view struct that assigns the view router's current view variable to the assigned page. The published property wrapper's functionality causes our observing content view to rebuild itself with eventually showing us the corresponding text view. Awesome, we're now able to jump between the different tab bar icons by tapping on them. To indicate to the user which view is currently shown, we can conditionally highlight the corresponding tab bar icon. For example, when our home view is currently being shown, we want the corresponding tab bar icon with its image and text view to be darkened. Otherwise, we want it to be gray and vice versa for dark mode. We can achieve this by adding the following modifier to it. Awesome, our tab bar now indicates which view is currently being shown. We want to display a cool pop-up menu when the user taps the plus sign icon. For keeping track of whether the menu should be displayed, we add a corresponding state property to our content view. Right below our view router state object. When this state is true, we want to display the menu on top of our tab bar. Therefore, we wrap our H stack into a Z stack. For the menu itself, you can add the following struct right below your content view's preview struct. If you want to learn how to create floating menus in SwiftUI, take a look at another tutorial we linked in the description. Depending on the show pop-up state, we can now initialize the plus menu on top of our tab bar. We position the plus menu above our tab bar by using the offset modifier again. We want to toggle the state by tapping on the plus icon. For this purpose, we apply a tap gesture to the Z stack containing the circle and image view. When we now tap on the plus icon of our tab bar, the floating menu gets displayed. We can animate this by wrapping the toggle statement into a with animation clause. To replace the default fade animation with a catchier one, we can add the transition modifier to our plus menu's view while choosing the scale option. While running a live preview, tap the plus icon again to see how it looks. Hint, probably your live preview doesn't display the animation correctly. In this case, run your app in the regular simulator. Additionally, we want to rotate our plus icon when tapping on it. To do this, add the following modifier to the image view inside the corresponding Z stack. Depending on whether the plus menu is being shown, this modifier rotates the plus icon by 90 degrees. Our whole plus menu animation should now look like this. Conclusion. Awesome, we finished creating our own custom tab bar in SwiftUI. We've learned how to design a tab bar's UI, how to implement a proper navigation logic, and how to animate a cool pop-up menu. With this knowledge, you should be able to create your own custom tab bar. We've uploaded the whole source code of this app to GitHub. Check the link in the description for this. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more SwiftUI tutorials.